I am kicking myself because I've totally been sleeping on this brand. Today I'm going to be creating one look with the Gourmande Girls and Doodles by the Bunny Silent Night palette. If you guys are interested in seeing what I came up with and hearing my thoughts, then just keep watching. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Heather Eaglin. I love all things makeup, especially colorful makeup and indie brands. If you guys love those things too, I really hope you will subscribe and click the little bell so you can be notified of all my future uploads. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I'm wearing the GLAMLITE Scooby-Doo lip mask on my lips right now, and I'm so excited because I actually lost it for like 2 weeks and I just found it again. But on my cheeks, I'm wearing the Full Fantasy blush palette in the shade Sandbar, the Lethal Cosmetics Plan 9 blush. And for highlight, I'm using my GLAMLITE Friday the 13th highlighter, which actually goes really perfect with this palette. And it actually dupes a shade in the palette, but we will get into that in just a little bit. The Silent Night palette retails for $54.99. It has 5 duochromes and 7 mattes, and it is a collaboration with Doodles by the Bunny. When I first saw it, I thought it was a dupe for the Odin's Eye Christmas Eve palette, but now that I have them both, they are absolutely different, completely different, and I'm going to show you swatches of both because I want you to be able to compare the two. As I mentioned earlier, I've totally been sleeping on this brand. The formulas in this palette are spectacular. It's some of the best matte eyeshadows I've ever used, and I really love the shimmers as well. And even though I typically don't gravitate towards the more neutral shades, I'm so glad I picked this up because it's so much more than that. I never really tried the like browns with a pop of blue. I know that was like really big in early YouTube, but I personally have never tried it and I actually really love it. I just think this is a fantastic palette and I am so glad I picked it up. But now that you guys have seen the swatches, you can tell like they do have similar vibes, but as for the palettes, they are completely different. And dare I say, I think I like the Gourmande Girls palette better. And I love that it goes from really dark to really light. She has a white matte in the palette along with a matte black, which you know that makes me very happy. I'm going to start out by going into the shade Twinkle, which is just a mid-tone, cool tone brown. And I'm using my Singe Beauty EO6. This brush has quickly become one that I use for every look. I really freaking love it. But I just started packing that color on in the crease and blending it out. And then I wanted to see if the shadow would deepen up. So I switched over to my EO4. And it, as you can tell, it did deepen up very easily. And now I'm just going back in with my EO6 to blend it out. My highlighter in this look is Beaming, and like I said, it was the Glamlite Friday the 13th. But it actually looks like a duochrome in the palette that's in the shade Frosty. And I'll use it later on in the look, but I just wanted to throw that out there. If you don't have this palette and maybe you have that highlight and you want to create this look, you can just use that. But going in with my Singe Beauty EO1, I picked up the shade Mother, which is that really pretty matte yellow, and I just placed that in my inner corner. Now going in with my Singe Beauty EO3, I'm picking up the shade Heavenly, which is like a bone colored matte, and I'm just using that shade to blend on the edges of the darker matte that I used. And you know, there's no way I could use this palette and not use a blue. So I'm using my Singe Beauty EO4 and I'm picking up the shade Child, which is just your basic dark blue matte. And I'm focusing that on the outer portion of the crease and the outer V. And I'm just packing it on with this brush while I slowly blend it out. Going back in with my Singe Beauty EO3, I'm picking up the shade Twinkle, and I'm really just trying to blend out the matte blue shade. I keep getting tongue-tied. and I'm just trying not to lose any of that color. The blue is so beautifully pigmented, and I just didn't want it to take over the whole look. Using my Singe Beauty EO4, I'm picking up more of the matte blue, and I'm just going to press that along my lower lash line, trying to keep it as close to the lashes as I can, but blend it out as I go. I didn't want to lose any of the blue on the lower lash line, so I've just cleaned off my Singe Beauty EO4 on my Sigma switch, and then I'm going into the matte white to blend out the blue shade, and I will say this is a great matte white. As I mentioned, the mattes in this palette are freaking spectacular. I really love this type of formula. It kind of reminds me of like the Unearthly mattes, and you guys know if you've been here for a while that is one of my like absolute top favorite brands. So I was really smitten by this palette. I had such a great time playing with it. And honestly, if it was a more colorful palette, I probably would have loved it even more. And it makes me want to go back in and pick up some of the other collabs that she's done with Doodles by the Bunny, because her color stories are freaking great. But then I used a pencil brush and picked up some of the matte white and put it in my inner corner. Now going in with my Unearthly Cosmetics Glimmer Grasp on a BH Cosmetics packing brush. I'm just putting that all over my lid, everywhere I plan on putting down the shimmer shades. And I'm so excited for you guys to see the shimmer shades because they're freaking awesome. Using the sticky side of that brush, I'm going into the shade Festive, which is like an icy blue with a purple shift. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'm just putting that on the outer portion of my lid next to the mattes. Then I cleaned off my brush on my Sigma switch, and I'm going into the shade Frosty, which is so beautiful. This is like a white to blue to purple. It is like the one I said that reminded me of the Glamlite highlighter. And then I decided to just put it on with my finger, and I was trying to get the color to blend in with that blue a little easier because there's a stark difference between the two. Using my Singe Beauty EO5, which is just a really small blending brush, I'm picking up more of that matte blue shade, and I'm making sure I didn't lose any of that blue because I actually took my shimmer up a little too high. But I'm also using that in the outer V to blend in the matte with the shimmer shade. Now I'm picking up a little bit of the black. You know, I couldn't help myself. And I'm just concentrating that on the very outer corner. This, like I said earlier, is such a great black matte shade, and I'm so glad that it was in the palette. I think I said black MAC, but I meant black matte. I've been getting so freaking tongue-tied today, but here is the finished look. I love it. It's so pretty. And I used the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Punch, and I really wanted it to bring in that yellow from the inner corner, and I think it was a great choice. I really enjoy this look, and as I've said a million times, I freaking love this palette. My lip combo is the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip liner in the shade Blushed, and the Rimmel Lasting Finish lipstick in the shade 46. I can't wait to see what else this brand releases in 2024. Let me know down below if you guys pick this palette up or the Odin's Eye palette. I hope you are having a great start to your year. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know your thoughts down below. And until next time, bye.